It is the MMA rematch between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. So the two fought back in November. Their first fight together in MMA. They fought twice before in kickboxing. Pereira got both of those W's, one time knocking out Adesanya. So Poatan, the 35-year-old out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, he is 7-1 in MMA. Only one fight went the distance. The other 6 he finished those opponents. He is on a 7-fight win streak. So he lost his first fight in the sport and has not lost since. Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya, the 33-year-old out of Nigeria. He's 23-2 as a pro, 15 knockouts of his own. Of course, he's coming off of that loss, looking to get his UFC middleweight title back. Omar, start us off. Give us your take. Adesanya versus Pereira. Here we go.
This is the one where I am not choosing against Israel Adesanya. If we go down, we go down, kid. The ship goes down, Titanic style. I'm ready for it. It is what it is. I'm gonna ride with him, man. I think Israel had a good performance in the first fight. I think a lot of people give him a lot of shit for whatever reason. I'm assuming it's probably because they don't really like him for whatever reason. But I thought Israel did a really good job in that first fight. Obviously, I think he cracked Pereira at the end of that first round. Yeah. Had him on wobbly legs. Said he had maybe 30 seconds longer. That fight could have definitely been done.
Not even. I think 5 seconds longer.
Yeah. And as the fight went on, man, I thought Izzy was getting the better of some of the exchanges. I thought his distance management was a lot better than Pereira was. And I think it got to a point where at the end of that fight, Pereira just caught him. I really think that's what it was. And I think Izzy fucked up. He had a momentary lapse in his abilities and what he was doing and in his focus, and it cost him the entire fight. And I don't think that makes Pereira a better fighter than Israel Adesanya, but it does make Alex Pereira just a dangerous man to be across from. Obviously, that man is gigantic. He hits like a fucking truck. He is, I think, significantly bigger than Israel Adesanya is from a weight perspective. And it presents a lot of issues when it comes to the power, especially when you have a referee who knows this as well and is having to take that into consideration as to when he needs to stop the fight. I still don't necessarily agree with the stoppage because I do think Israel was still moving and still trying to avoid punches, and there's always going to be the argument that, the referee saved him from any future damage. And I mean, I'm sure that that's true. But the consistent argument that I've heard for that is that they had to take into consideration the fact that Alex hits like a beast. Like if that was Colby Covington, they probably wouldn't have stopped that fight, right? Just in terms of the pillow hand bullshit. So with that being said, I think that Israel has to be even more prepared for this fight. I don't think the mental aspect of it is going to get the better of him. I think he's still going to be well-grounded here in this fight. From a mental perspective, I think he'll be prepared. And I think he's going to come out on top, man. I still don't think he's going to be able to knock him out, but I do think he's still going to be able to get 3 out of the 2 rounds here, hopefully. And I'm going to ride with Izzy on this one, man. Unanimous decision.
Okay, Mark, take it away.
So the challenger is the favorite. Izzy is minus 140.
I can't believe that.
Believe it, baby.
Alex Pereira is plus 115. Now, I don't know what the line opened at. So that's not guaranteeing Vegas set Izzy as the favorite. It may have just been that they were like pick-a-mish and money came in Izzy's way from the public. But yeah, minus 140 Izzy, plus 115 Pereira. I am taking Israel Adesanya.
Wow.
I do not believe this man can go 0-4 in 4 fistfights with Alex Pereira. I just don't. Omar said a lot of this already, but I think Izzy showed in the last fight that he's the better overall fighter. Like, of course, it went south for him late, but I still think he's the better fighter. He was picking Pereira apart. He had Pereira frustrated. He was mixing in the wrestling beautifully. Pereira couldn't do anything about it. I don't see any reason he can't do all of that again. I do think he'll kick less. Pereira checked a ton of kicks last fight, and Izzy paid for it, as we know.
Yeah.
But I think he mixes in the wrestling again. I think he maybe pushes a little bit more of a pace than you usually see from Izzy, so that Pereira can't play as much of his Terminator-type game and maybe has to back up a bit more now and again. And I think he's going to put Pereira down. Remember, he almost did it last fight, as we just said. Round 1, 5 more seconds. Would have been over in favor of Izzy. And I know Pereira's frightening, and he's enormous for this weight class, and he's a weight bully, and that he carries this silly, silly power. But I just think Izzy is better, and I'm going to pick the guy that I think is better. If Pereira does this again, I'm going to have to eat my words and just accept that he's this good. But this is a guy who had a really competitive fight with Bruno Silva. And Israel Adesanya is leagues ahead of Bruno Silva. And again, he showed it all of last fight until things went south late. And I maintain that the drop foot scenario is the only reason that they did go south, is he couldn't move anymore. And not being able to move in front of Pereira is the scariest situation I can imagine. And that's where Izzy got stuck. And it still shouldn't have been fucking stopped. But anyway, I think Izzy does it in style this time. I think he fights a little freer, knowing that he already lost and that this is his last shot, and whatever happens in here happens. I love the way he has handled this loss, for what it's worth. And yeah, I think he fights a little freer, a little bit more of a pace, throws a few more, maybe what you would call risky shots, and finds one that closes the show. I say Izzy takes back his belt, round 3, TKO.
Fuck yeah.
Mike, go ahead and rain on this parade.
I am. You felt it, huh?
Yes, I knew.
I cannot believe that Pereira is the underdog in this fight. I just can't believe it. Like, the guy has defeated the man in fighting 3 times now. What do you mean he's the underdog? Are they crazy? As much as I love Izzy, man, and I love him, he's one of my favorite fighters. I just can't. I can't pick him in this fight. I just can't. I think that Pereira has already shown that he's better. He's better in the context that within a fight, he will do what he has to do to defeat this man. Yes, Adesanya was winning throughout most of that fight. I was as excited as anybody when he nearly finished him in the first round. But it's like the cliched phrase. It feels a little cliche to say it. It's like Adesanya's got to be perfect for 25 minutes. Hard thing to do when fucking Frankenstein is walking towards you. And I think that Pereira is going to just sort of put an exclamation point on the whole series here between the two of them. I'm going to say he's going to get him out of there even earlier. I'll say he finishes him in the 3rd round. I'll say, yeah, 3rd round. TKO. For Alex Pereira. Botan.
And realistically, I think history has kind of shown us that champions who get immediate rematches generally don't really go their way. So there's a lot of things that are against Izzy here on paper. But I'm really hoping, if there's anybody, especially the mental part of things, if there's anybody that I think has a good handle on it, Izzy's at the top of my list when it comes to that.
Yeah, man. I'll be rooting for him, that's for sure.